Hey everyone, I'm Brian. So I just put together the video over how to make this wallet. It's got 2 slots. It'll hold business cards or it'll hold credit cards. I've included a free PDF file. You can just click on the link and follow the directions and print it out, and we'll make this together. So I'm excited. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and let's make it. Alright, so we have our pattern glued on and we're just going to cut it out. I like to use these little razor knives. So I'm going to use an edge creaser before I burnish the edges. So all I'm doing is taking some 600 grit sandpaper and simply just knocking the top edges back a little bit. And now I'm going to take this edge creaser, and for those of you that don't know what this is just an iron that heats up and it can lay a little decorative line down the edge. So now I'm just going to crease the top edges. Now we're going to burnish our edges. I'm taking a little bit of Pro Dye, dark brown, and just putting a light coat right across the top there. And then we can take our slicker right over it. If it needs another coat, you can give it another coat. And do that a second time. Do is take something like a toconol, or this is something I make myself with a CMC paste, and we'll do our final burnish. And I even get some on the back side. Just try to keep it away from where you're going to glue at. This will smooth out. If you have rough leather, it'll smooth out the whole pocket. Here's one that I've already completed. Take a little piece of canvas. Now I'm just putting a thin line of glue about 1 centimeter from the edge, and you can mark that off with a set of wing dividers. Use a thin layer and a glue spreader. Once your glue dries, we're just going to put these 2 pieces together. You can decide if you want this pocket to be on the front or on the back. I'm going to put it on the back. Put a little mark where we're at on both sides. And then we need to scratch that surface up and put some glue on it. I took a little piece of sandpaper and put it on the end of a dowel, and that's what I'm using. And now we're just going to put these 2 pieces together. So I designed this to have a trim allowance so that your final product is actually smaller than what you cut out, and that's just going to help you square up your edges better. Got them right at 4 millimeters, and I'm just going to run this down the edge, the 3 sides, and now we've got a clear line there. So I'm setting my wing dividers to 3 millimeters from the edge. These are 5 millimeter diamond style pricking irons. They're from Kevin Lee. So we're going to mark our edges. Now I'm going to line it up that the tips fall right into the groove I just made. You want to make sure it's straight up and down. I don't want to cut my pockets. Then give it a nice tap. the first tooth into the last hole. Corner stitch in this side first. Usually I would crease it around the edges at the very end, but I'm afraid I'm going to be a little too close and that thread melts easy. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my crease down. If you don't have a creasing iron, you don't have to worry about this. It just gives it a decorative edge. This is a Venmo thread. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's around a 0.6 diameter. John James needles, these are size 004. And I've got it set up here so that the angle of the stitches are lined up here. I always stitch with the pricking iron holes lined up in this direction, start out in front of me and work my way back. I'm gonna come through the third hole because we're gonna back stitch twice there. And then we want to even up the thread so that we have the same amount on both sides. So I bring the needle from the front, I hold the thread to the bottom of that hole, and then once the needle, the right hand needle, goes through to the left side, I pull a little bit of the thread out of that hole and then I bring it over the top, and that's to make sure that I didn't pierce my thread. And then as I'm pulling, I pull with my right hand, I pull down and back, and left I pull slightly forward, and do the same thing. Good. That good. So I'm going to go around one needle here so that we loop it over the top. Try not to pierce that thread. If you've already got your thread all the way through it and tight, it won't matter so much if you do pierce it just a little bit. And make sure that those threads line up side by side. And now we're just going to start stitching. So come through with the left, come from the front, grab it, hold everything down to the bottom. And see, I pierced it on that one, so this will be a good example. But if I pull it back through, see how it's coming off? Good. But I wanted that to be on the bottom. There we go. And now I can loop it back over the top. With this larger thread, sometimes you have to encourage it a little bit more than when you're stitching with the finer threads. Now I really prefer those stitches to line up so you can hold it in place with another needle, and then as you pull it tight, they line up parallel with one another. So now I'm going to show you a view from the left side. So our left hand needle goes through to the right, our right hand needle comes from the front. Hold everything to the bottom. We pull our thread back, loop it over the top. Left hand kind of pulls forward and up, right hand pulls down and back. This is a number 2 edge beveler, and I'm just taking just a little bit off. Then I'm just going to take just a little bit off the corners here. So at this point I've come back and sanded the edges with 800 grit sandpaper, another coat of the brown dye Burnish again. And that's going to give you a really good looking edge. The secret to getting a nice glassy looking edge is to make sure that everything is even and really spend your time on working it. You can take a cloth So that's just with burnishing and nothing else on it right now. Now for the final burnish, I use what's called CMC paste. It's a powder, and I mix it with water so I get this consistency here. You could just buy something like Tokonole instead. Canvas cloth. Longer. So if you do want to use it for a business card, they'll still fit in there perfectly. Final dimensions came out to be 10 by slightly over 7 centimeters. Tell on the video or not, but we have some really good looking stitch lines here. So we get a nice, keeping that angled type stitch on both the right and the left hand side. Hope yours turned out good too.